Hello and welcome to the Law Podcast brought to you by the University of Stirling Law Society. I am your host, Jedd, and today I am delighted to be joined by Angelika, who is a fellow second year LLB student. Originally from Greece, Angelika discusses what brought her to Stirling in 2019 and what it's like studying here as an international student. So hello.
Hello.
Angeliki. Should we call you Angeliki or Angelika?
Angelika.
You want to be called Angelika?
Yeah.
Because you have many different names here in Scotland.
I mean, when I first came here, the hotel receptionist that was basically the first person I met could not pronounce it, so he named me and it stuck.
He just named you Angelika on the spot. And now he has no idea that you go by that name now.
Yeah, it has a very special place in my heart.
Yeah. But for all the Greek listeners, Angelika Diamanti. It's a very Greek name. So how are you?
I'm good.
How are you finding online learning?
Middle of the semester, very stressful.
Yeah.
I feel like it's hard for everybody that actually enjoys going to the lectures and having that experience. And I wish I was one of those people that actually liked online learning, but I actually despise it.
You don't like it?
No, I hate it.
Hate it?
I hate it.
Why? What about it do you hate?
I don't know exactly. I feel like it's being in the same room and having no distinction between your your study space and your living area, and you can switch on and everything.
Yeah. So for everyone listening, Angeliki or Angelika, I'm just used to calling you Angeliki, but for the episode I'll try and call you Angelika. It feels weird for me.
Yeah.
Because my dad calls you Angelika, my mum tries to call you Angeliki, Jodie calls you, well, Jodie's my sister, she calls you
I don't know what Jodie calls me.
She calls you Angelika.
Okay.
So you go by like 3 different names in my family. But yeah, you're my girlfriend.
Yeah, let's get out of the way.
Yeah, we met here at university in our first year, which we'll get on to at some point.
See, that's why I hate online learning. You can meet the love of your life from Zoom.
Yeah, well, maybe you can, I don't know. But yeah, we live together in a flat and we have like a small living room which we're sat in right now as we record this. And it's like there's no change from your study space, your productive space. To
I'm sitting on my desk right now.
Yeah, we're sitting at our desk where we do our seminars and stuff. And then, like 2 meters away, we have our chilled out space where at the weekend we
take naps.
You take naps on the couch. I don't really tend to take naps on the couch. I'm more of a nap in the bed kind of guy.
With a weird kind.
Yeah, but then we were just watching a film there at the weekend. But then again, you've just got to come back to your desk in the same room
and zone in,
which is a lot harder. But I think that's something that everyone's struggling with.
Hopefully.
I'm sure it is. I've heard lots of horror stories.
I hope everyone's doing better.
No, I'm sure everyone's struggling a little bit. I mean, we know people that enjoy it, but
weirdos?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't like it whatsoever. So yeah, like I mentioned, you're from Greece.
Yes.
So just initially, give us a little bit of an introduction to what it was like growing up in Greece, and have you found that?
Well, growing up in Greece, it was basically like, I'm sure you know, going on holiday and spending great times, great summers. Yeah. I grew up in an island, so we're very close to the beach. And
which part of Greece were you from?
Crete. The biggest island of the country. And it was very nice. I have no complaints. The only reason I left was because of the career prospects. They're basically none. So if you want to have an actual career and have and exercise law, you need to chase your dreams. You can just... Is
that just for being a lawyer, or is that in a lot of different professions? There's not a lot of avenues to go down in Greece.
Well, it's definitely not just law, but I think it's like an oversaturated market right now because you need to have connections early on. Like you have to have some relative or your parent be a lawyer in order to get an actual traineeship. And I'm sure it's like that with most things. When countries have an economic crisis, like everything takes a back seat.
Yeah.
So I really hope in the future things will change, but for now that seemed like my only option.
So from what you're saying, it seems like it's that traditional old look of being, it's not about what you know, it's who you know.
Definitely,
Yeah.
yes, sadly.
I mean, we
that's
do
true.
have aspects of that in Scotland, but I mean, like you said, I think our legal industry is probably a bit easier to get into. So, like you said, no career prospects in Greece.
Yes.
So, when did you realise you wanted to come to Scotland? Was it always Scotland you wanted to come to? Was it the UK? Was it different parts of Europe? What was the thought process behind that?
Well, Scotland just happened in a way because I was just thinking about which country I could go on would be affordable, first of all, because I think that's what everybody's thinking. And they could speak English because that's my second language. So I managed to get a scholarship in Scotland, and they do offer those for people that are looking for them, for international students that want to come in Scotland. I'm sure it's different for every country, but I think for the European Union there are many placements that you can search for, and so I managed to get free tuition. And
Nice.
yes,
Makes a big difference.
must be nice.
Yeah.
So it was just easier, and the English, I mean, different English that I was used to, but
I mean, you have really good English.
thank you.
I mean, I remember when I first started speaking to you, it was like your English was so good. That's what really struck me. It was just like, wow, you have really good English. Normally there's some sort of like language barrier, which I don't think there really ever was. I think you're really quite good at speaking English and understanding. And I wasn't planning on asking you this until further down the line, but since we're kind of on the topic, how has it been adjusting to the Scottish accent? Because as people can probably tell, I've got a very deep Scottish accent.
Yeah.
And obviously I've got a professional voice on right now, but when we're in private, it's a lot more like slang.
Yeah,
more
like
mumbly.
typical Scottish.
So how was it? How did you find that transition from, speaking English in Greece, and then coming to Scotland and everyone's just like, all right, mate.
All right, mate. Well, when I landed, I just went to Five Guys to get some, to grab a bite.
Get a burger.
Yeah,
Nice burger.
see what Scotland really has to offer. And I didn't understand anything the guy was telling me. I was
Right.
completely lost. I couldn't understand anything. I feel like every international student has to say this. Like, I completely lost. You don't know what to do, and I think that's totally normal, and you have to keep that in mind when you come to every country, when you go to every country. And when I first got into the lecture theatre the first time, I almost burst into tears and cried and left because
Oh, no.
I couldn't understand what they were saying. But thank God for listening again. You have to work with yourself and every resource. Talk to people as much as you can. Ask for people to repeat themselves. Yes, thank you. And just talking and exercising your language, it becomes second nature, and it's actually very, very interesting, and I think funny sometimes to try to speak in a Scottish lingo, and I think it's beautiful. I think it has
beautiful.
Yeah, I like it.
I don't know if beautiful would be the word I would use.
I like it. It's very
it.
prestigious, I think.
Why?
I think because there is some history to it.
Yeah.
It's not like, the people who were speaking like this so long ago, and that's why you still have some of those little words that you still use, and I think that's very nice. Yeah. Very pretty.
I suppose it's just like with most things that would just be, with like practice makes perfect. The more you listen to someone in a Scottish accent, the more you'll try or get used to kind of figuring out what they're trying to say. I know for me, I mean, I'm Scottish born and bred, lived here all my life, and I still struggle to understand what some people are saying. So, I mean, props to you for actually managing to adjust quite well. You've only been here for a year now.
Yeah.
And you've managed to adjust really well.
Thank you.
Especially during lectures and stuff, it can be quite difficult to understand what someone's saying. Even when you go on to listen again, it's not particularly easy. So yeah, big respect to you for navigating that relatively pain-free. So yeah, you've came to Stirling. Was that your first choice? Was that the only place you applied in Scotland?
Well, I applied to Aberdeen and Dundee and stuff. I didn't apply to Glasgow Uni.
Right. Any reason or?
Just I don't want to say anything offensive.
We don't have to. It's just the selections that you've put there are quite like Aberdeen is out there, and like I always see Aberdeen as like a country of its own because it's like 2.5, 3 hours away from the rest of like central Scotland.
How nice is it from the outside though? It looks like a Harry Potter school.
Yeah.
Also, Glasgow Uni was the actual Harry Potter thing, but I just the selection process wasn't for me, and I think you need to recognize what you can handle, what you cannot handle, and I needed to have that security of I'm gonna go and I'm in there. Yeah,
I mean, when I looked at applying to the University of Glasgow and seen that they make you take an additional exam and you've got to pay for it for them to even consider you. For me, it wasn't for me. I thought, nah, I don't want to be doing that. I'm not going to pay money for then.
Mad respect people who do though.
Yeah, like fair enough if you get in, then fair enough. It's a great law school. It's one of the, I think it's top 3 in the whole of the UK for law. So fair play if you get in. But for me personally, I wasn't going to be doing that. I was more than happy to come to Stirling because I'd grew up here anyway.
Yeah, I feel when you go to like a smaller uni, you have the opportunity to be more intimate with your professors and they're more approachable.
Yeah, you're not just another face in a 300 crowd lecture theatre.
I feel like they would remember you. They are more keen to help, and I personally experienced that intimacy where I can ask my professor and not feel the fear and the barrier between a professor and a teacher and a student. And I feel like that's very important, especially in law, where you need to have your materials down and you need to be able to speak. And I think when the environment is welcoming, then you're more likely to get out of your cell faster.
Yeah. I mean, well, we're in second year, and I think for the vast majority, if not all of our modules that we've had so far, I'd say we've both had a reasonable kind of personal relationship with each lecturer that we've had, which was a big draw for me coming to Stirling, because like you say, if you go to Glasgow or Edinburgh or any of these traditionally larger law schools, it's a lot harder to have that kind of one-to-one aspect, and you find yourself getting
where the lecturer knows your name.
Yeah,
I wouldn't think that would happen. But
yeah, that appealed to me as well. Whereas you could just become another face in the crowd if you go to some of the bigger law schools, which works for some people, which is fair enough. But I suppose it's all just personal preference. But I think you've landed in a good place in Stirling.
I think so too.
So yeah, going back to the first moving day when you first landed in Scotland, you've got to Stirling.
Yeah.
What were your first impressions? What was it like? What were the emotions going through? Were you nervous, scared, excited, all of the above?
It was okay. The first day was it went by so fast. We had freshers.
Any current first year students will have no idea what freshers is, unfortunately.
Feel very sorry for you guys.
Yeah.
So you were actually forced to be sociable and meet people, which is very nice. I lived in the accommodations, by the way, and you're actually forced. Like, you meet people you're gonna live with. You go to places other people are. Stirling is adorable. It's very nice. I love the small cafes and all the atmosphere.
It's a very student-friendly city.
Yeah, it's
a very
so
big student
nice.
atmosphere here.
Yeah, like I already have my favorite places and things I go to and I love. So I'm very glad for that.
So you like it. When you first got here, you thought, yeah.
I thought there's a lot of green.
Green. There's a lot of grass.
There's a lot of grass.
Very nice hills.
Very beautiful, just very nice.
Yeah, that's also one of the benefits of coming to Stirling as opposed to a kind of city centre, school, university, whatever you want to call it. Because
you feel like you're in a sanctuary.
Yeah, whereas if you go to Glasgow or Edinburgh, you're in the middle of a city centre, you're going to be experiencing very busy trains to get there, very busy city centre traffic, people walking about left, right and centre, where Stirling's a lot quieter.
Yeah, you leave the atrium and you see like a beautiful lake.
Yeah.
And it's very nice. The library views are wonderful. Just a great place to study, in my opinion.
It's very nice, very nice. So you mentioned freshers.
Yes.
And how you may have engaged in some alcohol-related activities.
I don't like where this is going, but go ahead.
I just want to know, do you have any particular memories from freshers? Anything that is we can say that's not going to get anyone in trouble?
Oh God, that's so difficult. I liked the Venga Boys that came last year. Very nice.
I didn't go to that. Was that Fubar or?
No, that was in the uni.
Oh, was it?
That was in the atrium.
It
was so fun.
The actual Venga Boys.
Yeah.
The actual Venga Boys came to the uni.
It was
that just
so
shows
nice.
you how much of a hermit I was in first year.
I know.
Because I was still living at home, so I was just like, I'm just gonna kind of take my time.
That was a great night. The energy, immaculate. Like the vibes, amazing.
They must be old now, surely, Venga Boys.
Yeah, but last year they had those like boom boom things. I didn't know them, by the way. I just found out about them here. What else? They were giving free donuts on campus.
That's a great thing about freshers, which they've probably not.
You get so much free food, by the way.
They've probably not had that this year.
I don't want to rub it in their face.
Yeah.
We got free Dominoes.
Yeah, Dominoes, donuts.
By the way, first time I tried Dominoes was without free Dominoes. First time I tried Krispy Kreme. Creme?
I think it's Krispy Kreme.
Cream?
I mean, that could be a controversial topic, but I was...
Yeah, let's not go there.
Since we're on controversial topics, do you pronounce it Primark or Primark?
Primark.
Nah, it's Primark.
I don't like... It doesn't go. It's Primark.
We can Google it later if you want.
Alright.
So yeah, we spoke about freshers. Now, if we move on from that, you're in your first few weeks of the law course. How did you find it initially? Were you enjoying it? Was it hard? How was the transition from traditional high school in Greece to coming to Scotland to study at university, especially studying law, which is a very demanding course, which everyone knows is hard to get into, it's hard to study. So how did you find that transition? Were you a bit overwhelmed? Was it quite a lot to adjust to, or did you just kind of go with it and enjoy it?
It's really interesting. I think it's okay, and you should allow yourself the first few weeks to be totally and utterly confused. And be patient with yourself, especially when you're studying a different language. You need to get a grasp on the different terms. I know some people kept like they made their own dictionaries with law terminology in order to get through the first few months, maybe. And there's many tips you can follow, but patience is the key to success with this course. I feel like you need to be very resilient.
Yeah.
And you need to have faith in yourself. You need to be confident. And I mean, the first few weeks, I think we had quite a lot of help from the professors. They were very understanding, which I really appreciate. They weren't really demanding on the first few seminars, so you can actually get yourself together and see what you need to do. But yeah, it was, from what I remember, very smooth sailing after that. It is hard in the beginning, definitely, but it's very, very rewarding.
So in the first semester we had contract and delict and public law, but public law was I don't know how we call it, but it goes on first semester and second semester. So the exam for public law, I believe, was just a multiple choice test.
We did that online.
Yeah, so that was kind of like a pre-introduction to how life is going to be like.
We thought it was gonna last for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 months.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So yeah, we had contract and delict, which we would have had an essay to do for each. Mm-hmm. How did you find that? How did you find writing your first academic essays, particularly as you're obviously a native Greek speaker? Like I said, you've got great English, but particularly in a law degree, there's a lot of emphasis put on having good academic English writing skills with referencing and making sure you're using the right terminology, because as we know in law, if you use the wrong word, it can mean something totally different to what you're actually trying to say. So how did you find that? Did you hit the ground running on that, or was it quite difficult? Did you have any learning aids to help you?
I think Google is your best friend.
We do not endorse any particular search engine. If you wish to go somewhere else, go for it. We're not sponsored.
Yeah, sure. Not our responsibility, but I am saying that Google everything you like, especially referencing. But yeah, you can ask your professors. I did get help from some of them, but mostly spending a lot of time reading it through and making sure it made sense. And I just put most of my attention on being on point and including every legal problem and authority, because I think when you're in doubt about your writing skills, what they're gonna see first is if you covered everything that needs to be covered. Then you can always work on it as you go to your lectures and as you do your seminars. Make sure to write down everything and keep that in mind, and eventually it's gonna become something that comes not naturally per se, but easier, because the terminology becomes part of your vocabulary, and obviously there are a lot of tips and books that you can read, but you need to practice. Nothing is going to help as much as that.
So yeah, moving on, Corona hits kind of February, March time in our second semester. Online exams, how did you find that? Did you enjoy it? I'm pretty sure from what we already covered, you weren't a fan.
No. No, I really appreciate that we had the time that we had. Maybe it was definitely longer than we needed, more than we needed.
We had 24-hour exams for anyone.
I mean, exams are bad either way. It's not a pleasant experience. So maybe that's like that was actually positive, because they were so easy. Relatively easy.
Easier than it would have been in a normal exam format, which I think is pretty obvious to say, because you had your books there, you had 24 hours to write your questions. Just
different.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy transition, but I mean, at the end of the day, it was easier to pass, so it could have been a lot worse. And obviously, you're in second year now, so you did pass.
Thank you.
Which is great.
Yes, I did.
Fabulous.
Yes, I did.
So I was planning on asking you about online learning. Now we're in second year. but I feel like we've already covered that, so we can skim over that. So yeah, moving forward into your third and fourth year, any particular areas that you're looking to take as an elective module, any areas that are of particular interest that you're thinking about?
Well, as I said, I've always been interested in criminal law. However, every time a speaker comes to the uni, or I hear anybody talk about it, they say, don't go into criminal law.
Yeah.
Because there's no money, and I don't know. I don't know yet, because we are in second year, and you might fall in love with something you do in your last semester. You never know. But for now, I'm sticking to criminal, or I don't know, commercial. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
we'll see how this essay goes.
Yeah. We have commercial essays due in like a week, which is great fun. But yeah, like I said, you're only in second year. There's no pressure to focus down on any particular area right now. You've got plenty of time to.
And I feel like everybody who says it has a set decision written
and
down.
You hear loads of people changing their mind, even when they go to their traineeship and they have a particular seat. They go, oh, I was so set on going.
It's never too late.
Yeah, they were so set on going into like family law, but then they had a seat in like debt recovery, something totally random. They go, I really enjoyed that, and then they end up going into that.
Debt recovery.
Yeah, I mean, it's not particular interest.
I love how that came into your mind.
I was just listening. I'm sure I was listening to a show and someone said they had a seat in debt recovery and they really enjoyed it and ended up specialising in it. So yeah, rounding off, any main tips you would have for international students or people who are maybe in Europe or further abroad who are thinking about coming to Scotland or indeed any other part of the UK, still part of the UK when we record this, it might be different if someone's listening in the future. 10
years later.
any tips, would you encourage them to do it? Any word of warning? What's your kind of overall advice for someone who's thinking about coming to Scotland?
Yeah.
To narrow it down.
Try Iron Brew. Iron Brew is great. Iron
Brew is great.
Sausage rolls and Lawrence sausage.
Yeah.
But other than that, which is the main thing, take it easy. Be kind to yourself. Be patient. It's very, very fun. It's a great journey. I loved my first year. I loved the people I met, and
thanks very much.
Yeah, all right. So be very focused, but also make time for other things.
Enjoy Scotland for what it
enjoy
has as well.
Scotland. Enjoy, for everyone, enjoy your activities. Take your mind off your course, and have the bigger picture in your mind always. Keep in mind why you're here, why you're studying this, because you are gonna make it if you want it. That's what I think.
That's very good words of advice. I'm sure
Thank
people
you.
appreciate that. And just on that note, I think that with a law degree, it's very easy to kind of look at what everyone else is doing, and you'll be seeing there'll be particular students who are studying all the time, and you might feel guilty that you stop studying at like 6-7 o'clock at night, whereas people are still in the library. But I think everyone's different. I wouldn't try and compare yourself to anyone. Take things at your own pace, particularly if you're coming from abroad. You're obviously not just adjusting to studying law, you're adjusting to a whole new country, a whole new way of living, perhaps a whole new language, a whole new accent, whole new cuisine. Loads of different aspects going on. So just take things at your own pace, relax, be patient with yourself, and like you said, if you want to make it work, then you can do it.
Yes.
Particularly brilliant.
Thank you.
So yeah, before we go, one question I do want to ask you is, PG friendly, what is your favourite Scottish word?
Oh, that's so hard.
Yeah, if you don't want to answer that, We can make it favourite Scottish beverage, food, anything like that.
I feel like I gave that away.
With what, Iron Brew? It has to be Iron Brew, surely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Or square sausage.
Because everything else we have, so it's very... well, favourite Scottish words? I like saying... windy.
Windy. For like a window.
Yes.
Yeah, like jump out the window.
We is always nice. We.
As in small.
Yes. That's it. I don't
Deed.
know. Deed.
You like
deed. Yeah, I love
deed for dead. Yeah. Great. Well, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Much appreciated.
I feel like a celebrity.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but it's been great to talk to you. I think it's been
Thank
very
you.
beneficial. I'm sure there'll be loads of points in there for anyone who's an international student or just...
God forbid he wasn't good to talk to me.
Well, I know I talked to you enough, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that rounds it off. So thank you very much for coming on. Angelika. We settled on the name Angelika.
Yeah.
Or Angelika Diamanti.
Angelika Diamanti.
I love it. Love the Greek name. So yeah, thanks for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much for listening to another episode of our podcast. If you like what you hear, please follow us on your podcast platform of choice to ensure that you never miss an upload. To keep up to date with us, you can follow our Instagram page, which is Star Law Society. Additionally, our Twitter is @_Star Law Society. In the meantime, it's goodbye from me, and I'll speak to you again very soon.